Welcome, everyone. Today we are talking about how to choose a monument company. This is part of our how-to series.
Yeah, and if you're tuning in, chances are you're facing this, well, very personal task.
It really is. Selecting a monument company, it's more than just buying a stone, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's about capturing a life story, creating a lasting tribute.
So we want to walk through how to find a company that, you know, really understands that and can help create something special.
It's a thoughtful process, definitely. And taking a bit of time up front just to reflect, it makes the whole thing much smoother later on.
Okay, so let's start there then. Before you even, look up any companies, it's good to just pause.
Mm-hmm. Spend some quiet time thinking about what you actually envision.
What kind of picture comes to mind for the memorial?
Exactly. Think about the style first. Does a classic, upright monument feel right?
Yeah.
Standing tall?
Or maybe something more understated, like a flat marker,
Or even a bench, perhaps. A place for people to sit and reflect.
and there are unique options too, right? Something
Mm.
really custom.
Totally. Each style gives off a different feeling, a different message.
And then the material. That's huge. Granite, bronze, marble. They all have such different characters.
They really do. Granite is, well, it's known for being incredibly durable. It lasts.
Right, and bronze has that sort of warmth, and it changes over time, which can be quite beautiful.
It develops that patina, yeah. Marble has that classic, elegant look.
But maybe needs a bit more looking after.
It can, depending on the environment. So longevity is definitely tied into the material choice, how it weathers over decades.
Good point. And you also mentioned thinking about size and shape.
Yeah, practically speaking, cemeteries often have rules about this stuff, specific regulations.
Ah, okay, so you need to balance your preferences with what's actually allowed.
Exactly. Good to have a sense of both.
The really personal part, what goes on it.
Right. What words, what symbols, maybe even pictures, what best captures their essence for you?
That's where it really becomes their memorial.
It is. Thinking about their passions, maybe achievements, just who they were. These details make it unique.
And one last thing before starting the search. Budget.
Yeah, it's helpful. Just having an approximate range in mind. Doesn't have to be exact, but it helps guide the conversation later.
Okay, so you've done that initial thinking. Where do you actually start looking?
The internet is a pretty good place to begin, usually. Most companies have websites now.
So you can see examples of their work.
Exactly. Look through their galleries. Do you like their style? Also, look for customer reviews. See what other people's experiences were like.
That gives you a feel for their reputation and service.
Definitely. And don't underestimate asking around.
Like talking to friends or family.
Yeah, or even the funeral home. They often have experience working with local monument companies and might have suggestions.
Personal recommendations can be really valuable.
Incredibly helpful. And, if it's possible, try to visit a couple of showrooms.
Oh, right. To see them in person.
Yeah. It's one thing to see photos online, but seeing the monuments physically,
You can really judge the craftsmanship then.
you can. You see the quality of the stone, the detail in the carving, the finish. You get a much better feel for it all.
Okay, so you've narrowed it down maybe. What kinds of questions should you be asking these companies?
Good question. You want to figure out if they're a good fit, right? So, start with the basics. How long have they been doing this?
Years in business.
Yeah. A long track record often suggests they're stable and know their stuff.
Makes sense. And look closely at their work again.
Definitely. In the showroom or their portfolio, does it look well made? Pay attention to the details, the precision.
What if you have a custom idea? Something really specific.
Then you absolutely need to ask if they handle custom designs and ask to see examples.
Examples of similar custom work they've done?
Precisely. See if their creativity and skill match what you're hoping for. And, maybe just as important, how do they interact with you?
You mean like their customer service?
Sort of. Are they responsive? Do they actually listen to what you're saying? Do they seem professional, attentive?
You want someone who feels like a partner in this. Someone who cares.
Exactly. It's a significant process. You need to feel comfortable and heard.
It's not just about the final look, though. There's the whole creation process.
Right, the practical side. You need to understand that too. Ask them how they actually turn your ideas into, well, stone.
How does it go from concept to reality?
Yeah. What materials specifically do they use? What are their quality standards? What kind of granite? What kind of bronze?
An installation. That's a big piece of it.
Crucial. Ask if they handle the installation at the cemetery themselves. Is that included, or are there extra fees for that?
Get all the costs clear.
Absolutely. And ask about warranties or guarantees. on the material, on their workmanship.
That offers some peace of mind, doesn't it?
It really does, knowing they
Huh.
stand behind their work.
Okay, that brings us to the money side. Contracts, costs,
Yeah.
clarity seems essential here.
Oh, absolutely essential. Always, always get a detailed written quote. Yes, it should break down every single cost. The design work, the materials, the actual making of it, the lettering, the installation, everything.
No surprises later on.
That's the goal. Also, clarify the payment schedule. When are payments due? How do they accept payment?
Get that all up front.
And the contract itself, read it carefully before you sign anything.
What should be in there?
All the specifics. A description of the monument, the materials, the dimensions, the inscription text, the payment timeline, the estimated completion or delivery date.
And cancellation policies.
Yes, good point. What happens if things change? It should all be clearly laid out.
We sort of touched on this earlier, but maybe we can circle back to style and material again. They seem so fundamental.
They really are. They define the whole look and feel and the longevity. The style, upright, flat, bench, custom capsule mech, it sends a visual message.
Right, an upright feels different than a flat marker.
Completely. And the material choice impacts not just the look, but how it holds up over time. Granite is tough, bronze changes, marble is elegant, but maybe softer.
Depends on the climate too, I imagine.
Definitely. Some materials weather differently in different conditions, so it's a balance of aesthetics and practicality.
And the whole point of this, really, is creating something meaningful. A tribute that reflects the person.
That's the ultimate goal. It goes back to that initial thinking phase.
The words, the symbols, the images.
Well, exactly. What really represents them, their personality, their values, maybe their hobbies or life's work.
You need to share those thoughts with the company, right?
Oh, absolutely. It should be a collaboration. Work closely with their design team.
So they can help translate those personal things into the actual design.
Yes. That's how you create something truly unique and fitting. Something that tells their story. Maybe it's a specific flower they loved, or a quote, or a symbol representing their profession or faith.
It becomes more than just a name and dates.
Much more. It becomes a story in stone for generations to see.
So, wrapping this up, choosing a monument company is really about finding that right partner, someone to guide you.
Exactly. A partner to help create a tribute that's both lasting and truly meaningful.
And the way to do that is by, well, taking time to reflect first.
Doing your research, checking out companies,
Asking the right kinds of questions.
understanding the process and the costs.
And really reading that contract.
If you do all that, you can find a company that will help you honor that memory beautifully.
It's about creating something that endures. As people start thinking about this, what aspects of personalization really stand out as potentially powerful ways to tell that unique story? We'll be back next time with another thought-provoking exploration of a topic that matters.